He walks Johnny Damon, gets the next batter out, and then 0-2 count, he hits Walker. And this would not happen if he were sharp. And then Manny Ramirez, he eliminated that breaking pitch. He knew they'd got him out earlier. He's looking inside, drives a ball to the ballpark, and they capitalize on Zito's fatigue. Great effort by Zito, went out there, gave his team all that he could. And a matter of fact, as we all know, they were in the game to the finish. But that's what's going to happen when somebody pitches on short days rest. They just run out of gas, and the hitters start to eliminate the pitches they can't throw.
And Manny had really been struggling up to that point, 3 for 18 in the series with only 3 singles. And Bobby, this gets us to the 9th inning, and what a wild 9th inning it was. We had a whole series worth of second guesses in that 9th inning.
Well, 9th inning is what managers dream about, and sometimes those dreams turn into nightmares. And it began that way in the 9th inning for Boston Red Sox when Scott Williamson came out pitching his 3rd day in a row. He walked the first hitter, Hatteberg. He walked the second hitter, Guillen, and things started to really go bad. After the bunt for Hernandez, though, I think there was a conscientious effort in the dugout with Grady Little and Dave Wallace to say, we're winning this game before Durazo gets to the plate. It didn't matter who was going to come up in the ninth spot. It didn't matter who was going to hit in the leadoff spot. Durazo was the guy they were looking at because they didn't have anybody to match up with. So they went after Milios, got him on strikes, went after pinch hitter Terrence Long, got him on strikes, won the game. And may I add, they were going to win the game before Durazo came up, and that's why the infield was playing in.
Red Sox came back from 0-2 down to win the division series in '99, went on to face the Yankees in the ALCS. They'll do that again. Game 1 on Wednesday. And Harold, the Yankees have been kind of flying under the radar here with that series against the Twins, kind of quietly dominating. They are rested and ready. The Red Sox spend physically and emotionally, too. Well,
this is what you want. If you're the Yankees, you wrap your series up. You want them to fight tooth and nail to get there. I think the Yankees are gelling right now better than they have at any time in the season. Their starters are throwing great. They're going 7, 8 innings deep in the ball games, and they're getting the ball to Mariano, who's healthy and throwing the best I've seen him throw all year. The Yankees are clicking on full cylinders. The question is, will they be able to hang on to it when this series starts? We've seen a lot of clubs get going, and then the days off peters them out a little bit. But I think this Yankee club is ready for the postseason right now. They're a sailor.
Oh, they're definitely ready for the
rotation all set to go, too.
And their rotation's ready, and the good news might be that Tim Wakefield's #1 starter. He's coming out. You don't get ready for a knuckleball. It's hit or miss, and without humidity in the cold, crisp air of an autumn night, Tim Wakefield could be at his best, and that could spell trouble for the New York Yankees.
All right, A's fans, if you're looking to something to think about throughout the winter, Miguel Tejada and Eric Chavez in this series, a combined 3 for 45. That's it for us. Let's get back to David Lloyd.
All right, Steve, thank you. The Red Sox and Yankees don't like each other in April. This should be fun in October. Our question for the night is, who do you think will win the ALCS? It's a simple question. Red Sox or Yankees? Log on and vote. We'll show you the results later in the program. Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood won't be able to go in Game 1 for the Cubs against the Fish, and that may actually work to the Cubs' advantage. We'll tell you why. And be
credit. He said everybody was available today with the exception of John Burkett. He went to the best arm available. That turned out to be Derek Lowe. And Derek Lowe, as he did earlier, and really came up with the loss earlier in the series in game #1 in the 12-inning affair. Well, today it was not going to be a loss. He had the nastiest sinker ball going today, about as filthy as I've ever seen Derek Lowe. And not even inducing ground balls because they couldn't touch him. He got the strikeouts when he needed them. Struck out back-to-back guys. Got the W. Red Sox are headed to New York. And let me tell you, folks, how pumped are we that the Red Sox are going to New York?
All right, Chris.
It wouldn't have been as fun. It wouldn't have been as fun if they went anywhere else but New York. So all the stars are aligned for the Red Sox and the Cubs to go in the World Series. Red Sox and the Cubs are going to the World Series. We want the Cubs. I got an early flight tomorrow. I'm headed to New York. Now they're going to pass through Boston. That's what it's all about now. It's all about New York.
Chris, if I didn't know better, I think you're on Yankee Way right now.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Mark. It's Red Sox Nation, Annex, West Coast version. I think I see Peabody. I think I see Bill Ricca. I think I see Haverhill. I think I see Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. These are our people who travel coast to coast to watch the Red Sox take the ALDS. Now they got one more to get to the big dance, of course, which would be the World Series. But you got to beat the Yankees. 99, 5 games they got bounced. This year, I don't know, this team is made up of a bunch of characters. They're very resilient. There's something they always talk about when they talk about the 2003 Red Sox. It's makeup. It's a Theo Epstein word, makeup. He talks about the makeup in the clubhouse, how he architected or constructed this team. It's about the makeup. Well, there's a lot of makeup. There's a lot of character guys in that clubhouse, and thus far, it has carried them through, and we shall see if it carries them through the ALCS. Win or lose, you know what? Win or lose, this has been an unbelievable season. And to be even a little bit negative, even if they go to New York and they get bounced in 4, would just be absolutely wrong. I'm not saying they're going to get bounced in 4, but I think we should respect the team enough that even if they did, which I don't believe is going to happen, it's been a wonderful season. It's been an unbelievable season. So many one-run games, so many late-inning comebacks. It's just been a great ride, Mark.
Well, Chris, one guy that we haven't really talked about, and you think about it, the Red Sox are down 1-0, and the guy who got him on the board was Jason Veritek, a guy who's been there throughout the season and the postseason, a steadying influence for this ball club all season long.
Mark, in my estimation, Jason Veritek won this playoff series. And he was the guy who caused that interference call in the rundown play. He was the guy who tagged out Tejada when Tejada took half the play off. He was the guy who blocked the plate on Eric Burns and then went and tagged Eric Burns because he didn't touch the plate. He's the guy who is the stabling force from that pitching staff when they labor, when they struggle. It is always the rock, the solid guy behind the bullpen, behind the backstop, rather. Last night I said, if there's a guy more valuable to his team at that position in the major leagues, I want to know about him. Jason Veritek, to me, is the MVP of this season and the MVP of this playoff. He was phenomenal. He did it day in, day out. He did everything they asked for him. And today he comes up with that big home run, which got the Red Sox on the board. Peck is the guy.
Chris, I got to tell you, you look like you're among friends.
Yeah. You know what? That's the beauty of Red Sox Nation. You never have to worry. You never have to look over your back. Nothing but friendly people here. Nothing but friendly fire. I mean, it looks a little raucous, but it's nothing but friendly fire.
Chris, I got to know, what happened to that Yankee fan that was bugging you?
Well, Mike, the Yankee fan has been removed.
I thought so, yeah.
Remove the Yankee fan.
I thought so. Good move.
And I think I saw an A's banner out there.
Yeah, the A's banner was gone.
The A's are history. Tell that guy the A's are history.
Yeah, there's no more Oakland fans. As I mentioned earlier, it was like the Super Bowl when there were so many St. Louis Rams fans until the Patriots beat the Rams and there was no Rams fans. There's no more Oakland A's fans. This might as well be Fenway Park. I'm going to walk across the street and go into Avalon.
See you in Chicago.
All right, Chris, thank you very much, and nice job out there. We're going to check out some local fans.
One more, baby. We're going to the World Series.
All right, Chris Collins joining us from Network Associates Coliseum, actually outside, as you can see, among the masses and the mass of Red Sox fans. How was this received in Boston? We saw during the game some cutaways of Jillian's, I believe it was, and you could see that the fans were whooping it up. I understand we have some pictures from Hurricane O'Reilly's tonight. Again, Hurricane O'Reilly's tonight, the final out recorded by Derek Lowe via the strikeout as he was able to get 2 strikeouts to end the ball game, as it turned out, and he was lights out. And that last pitch, you talk about nasty, Mike, because that was going. I mean, if you or I were at the plate, probably with the bat, would have done the same thing. You looked, he was almost going to graze the jersey, and then it tailed back in across the plate. Helpless if you're a bat.
Backdoor breaking pitches, unbelievable pitches in an incredible spot. And again, the guy's known for a sinker, so you're leaning out. He knew their approach.
It's coming into mid.
You're leaning out to try to cover the plate to get good coverage to drive the ball, and he comes in there, almost hits you on both of them, and winds up with strikes on. And listen, the umpiring wasn't great in this series, but those 2 calls were both perfect.
Well, and you see the things that are happening. You see the magic that is happening with this ball club. And Chris and I have talked about this several times in the show. It strikes so many parallels to the Patriots Super Bowl run, where just crazy things happen.
Oakland on Saturday night.
Crazy things. And we'll see what Oakland on Saturday night, or you remember David Patton lying unconscious, and it goes in their favor and things of that nature. So, I mean, there's still a lot of baseball to go. Obviously, the Red Sox probably will not have the benefit of some of the stupid plays made by the Oakland A's, namely Saturday night, the 4 errors, the mental lapses, things like that you don't get from a Yankee squad.
But coming out of the first 2 games, you wouldn't have predicted that the Oakland A's would do that either. I remember being on with Ted Sarandis and talking about how fundamentally sound that team was, and they just imploded. The Yankees have not been fundamentally sound all year. Were not fundamentally sound in the series against Minnesota. Lost the first game with their defense, almost lost the second game with their defense. So, again, we go back to what we've said all year. This is not a great Yankee team. The thing that the Red Sox have to be most concerned about is that they are pitching better as a unit than they have all year, and Rivera appears to be Rivera again. That's the big thing for them.
And they have been here before. They know how to do it. Mike Shailen, appreciate you coming in, staying up late with us.
See you Wednesday.
A lot of fun. Exactly right. We're going to keep it moving right along. All right, we're going to leave you tonight with the last 2 outs of the game. Red Sox winners 4-3 in Oakland. They move on to the ALCS, 6th time in franchise history. It starts Wednesday in New York. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody.
Playing right now. Strike 3 call. The biggest batter of his life. Bases loaded, 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, and the Boston Red Sox have come from behind, trailing 2 games to none, winning 3 in a row, and they will meet the Yankees on Wednesday night in the American League Championship Series.
And it's 4-1 Red Sox. It's 4-2. Jermaine Dye up, bottom 7. A little pop fly, short center. Damian Jackson going back. Johnny Damon coming in, and they will collide. Nomar gets Jermaine Dye at second, ends the 7th. Did not end the festivities, though. A's fans with words with the Red Sox players. Fan was escorted from the field. That's bottom 9, bases loaded, and Derek Lowe gets Terrence Long. And the Sox advance, winning it 4-3. So the Babe, Bucky, Buckner stepped aside last night, and the Boston Red Sox, they were able to move on as they become the first franchise in postseason history to twice overcome 0-2 deficits in a best-of-5 series. The other comeback came during the 1999 Division Series against the Indians. Pedro Martinez, the winning pitcher in both Game 5 clinchers. And just like in 1999, the Red Sox move on to face the rival Yankees in the ALCS. Here's Jeremy Schaap on why the similarities end there.
The last time they met the Yankees in the playoffs, the Red Sox left Tim Wakefield off their roster. This time, he's their Game 1 starter.
Very disappointing, feeling that I helped us get to this level back then, and now it's a totally different story. You know, I started all year, I made all my starts, and just fortunate enough to be in the situation to be Game 1 starter.
Derek Lowe will start Game 2. Pedro Martinez Game 3 in Boston against Roger Clemens, and John Burkett, manager Grady Little said, will probably start Game 4, despite grogginess from the team's red-eyed charter.
I can tell you now, but I'm not sure Berkey made it off that plane last night. I got to make sure he showed up in New York here, and then we got to get him to Boston.
Little said that no decision has been made concerning the status of Johnny Damon, who suffered a serious concussion in this collision Monday night. If Damon can't play, Little said, Gabe Kapler is likely to start in center field.
Until I see, you know, a lineup from the manager, I'm not deciding how to feel about my role. And, you know, right now, you know, I want Johnny to play. You know, we all want Johnny to be in the lineup tomorrow. He gives us our best shot to win.
Despite the autumnal chill, Little and general manager Theo Epstein are both sporting brand new crew cuts. It's clear that after surviving a 2-0 deficit against the A's, they're unafraid of cutting it close. In New York, Jeremy Schaap, ESPN.
Thank you, Jeremy. Tim Wakefield gets the ball for the Sox in Game 1. Wakefield has not won a postseason game since Game 6 of the 1992 NLCS when he was with Pittsburgh. Derek Lowe, who got the save last night, will start Game 2. Pedro gets the nod in Game 3, a potential matchup with Roger Clemens at Fenway. Harold Reynolds on loan from Baseball Tonight. Do you have a bigger problem with Manny Ramirez posing after the home run or Derek Lowe's gestures after closing out the game?
Derek Lowe's. Because of the fact, Manny Ramirez, we see it all the time. Saw Jack Clark hit the home run way back in St. Louis when he was with St. Louis. You see it almost every postseason. But Derek Lowe, I love the pump in the fist, the excitement there. But the gesture to the crowd's just not going to fly. I think he should be suspended for that because that's something it goes beyond the competitiveness of baseball. You're taking it into living rooms and everywhere else. I think it has a major impact on us answering that question today. I just think that's not needed. I know he
later apologized.
He apologized for that, but it's not called for.
Young Kim, you brought this up last night. You said that you didn't know if he was going to pitch. He didn't pitch. Should he be on the postseason roster to face the Yankees?
Well, I think they're not going to win without him. You know, this bullpen has been depleted. Their staff is hurting right now. You got starters closing games out. You got starters coming in trying to close games out. In Wakefield's case, now he's going to start Game 1. I think you got to have Young Kim on this roster, and we'll just see how it plays out. And I know he's had a tough time with the Yankees way back when he was with Arizona, but you're going to need that arm before it's all said and done.
As a starter or a reliever, is he more valuable?
That's a good question. I always thought as a reliever, but it looks like his best role has been as a starter. Maybe he can give you 5 or 6 innings, and he's the type of guy who doesn't need to rebuild his arm back up this late in the season. He can throw every day for you. I'm sure he can give you 5 or 6 innings.
Let's go to the Cubs and Marlins. Is Sammy starting to feel a little more pressure that he may have to carry the
Moneyball has seen his team not win any series in the last 4 years.
But the postseason's not his problem.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, really, there's nothing he can do about that, right? Look out, Big Apple. Here comes the Cowboy Up Fenway gang from Boston. The Red Sox ride into the Bronx for Game 1 tomorrow night at Yankee Stadium. There are many angles to look at with this series. Grady's rotation. He talked about it today. We'll break it down for you. Roger hasn't made his last start at Fenway. And can this Red Sox patched up bullpen keep up the magic?
I think so. They pitched well in this series. Hey, if it weren't for the bullpen, we wouldn't be talking about an ALCS between the Red Sox and Yankees. Unlike any other pro sport, baseball is most known for its tradition, both on and off the field. Part of that tradition includes rules about sportsmanship. I say, the hell with sportsmanship. You know what? After 85 years of frustration, the Red Sox, in my eyes, can say anything and do anything they want.
We won, especially the last 3 games. It's indescribable. Manny got a huge hit. Veritek got a huge hit. I think that's what kind of sparked us. D-Lo did an outstanding job for us tonight. I mean, I can't imagine anybody else pulling off what he did.
Bases loaded, 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, and the Boston Red Sox have come from behind, trailing 2 games to none, winning 3 in a row.
The good thing is we get to go on a flight, and instead of going back to Boston, we're veering a little bit other way, going to New York, and that's what we wanted to do.
Ready to cowboy up here on Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. He has his spurs on and everything. Yes, John Mita Farrell, who never saw a horse he didn't like. Right, John?
I am a Texan at heart.
And Billy Bird with us, the sports editor of the Lawrence Eagle Tribune. And fellas, I mean, this team is just so darn likable. Got to put the darn in there. Got to have the cowboy thing. Well, let's talk about Manny right off the bat. He finally showed up in this series, Billy.
That's what it's about. It's about, you know, same thing with Ortiz. The guys answered the bell, and that's what's important. When it was on the line, when you lose, you go home. he answered the bell. And, you know, I got to give him credit. This has been a new Manny the last week. This emotional guy, this pointing, you know.
He's been a good teammate.
I didn't think he could speak English. Now, you know, the guy can speak
No, Manny has proven he can speak English. He only speaks it when he wants to, and Manny proved last night in the at-bat in the 6th inning. When he wants to have that great at-bat, he can. Let's break it down. Barry Zito made him look foolish in the first 2 at-bats, especially in one of them in which he was trying to get him on the curveball. You see him throwing that lollipop curve, gets Manny Ramirez here. Manny does a good job of being patient, not chasing it. Then, fastball by Lilly, tries to put another one past him on a 2-2 pitch, and he can't do it. He grooves it. I said this last night as I watched this, as Barry Zito threw that ball on a 2-2 pitch that was still a base open. You go with your bread and butter. Even though you couldn't get Manny to chase a couple of the last curves, you don't throw him what is arguably not one of your 2 best pitches in a average 87, 88 mile an hour fastball.
To me, though, the pitch before that, you could really tell that he was locked in. I mean, he just missed that pitch as well. It was 2 bad.
You know what Zito was doing? Zito was doing, I'm trying to get Manny to guess. Manny's guessing. I'm going curveball. Let me try and sneak the fastball.
Well, no. First of all, the fastball worked. He struck him out with the fastball, outside fastball. It was bad placement. This is what happened. Zito was on 3 days rest. He was getting in the 6th inning. Remember the 7th game of the World Series in 1986 when Bruce Hurst was lights out, and all of a sudden it caught up to him. Manny,
I blocked that out, Bill.
Manny waited. You did bring that up.
I have flashbacks. I can't handle that.
Well, that's exactly what. And look, Manny answered the call, and that's what being a big-time player
Absolutely, and the key point for Manny is he said to one of the teammates he's going to make a mistake.
There's still going to
make a mistake, and he said he'll take advantage of it.
Not taking away from his at-bat last night with a home run, there's still going to be some concern about his hitting in the series because he did have some awful, pathetic at-bats.
But we're moving on to the Yanks. We got to talk about Veritek. To me, he's the unsung hero of this series.
Just you know, when has he not come through? I don't remember when it was a really big moment, and that was a big moment. They had to tie that game up. Yeah. They had to tie it up, and they did. I mean, go back to this play. This play saved the series. This was the Jeter play against Oakland, you know, 4 years ago, when he hushed over. You know, he blocked him. He not only did that, he had the sense to go get the ball, run back, and tag him. This guy's had big home runs.
To me, he's gained a lot of respect. I mean, what we said earlier this morning, I thought he was overrated entering this year, but I totally would sign this guy.
Well, I think a lot of people did, and part of it with the injuries that he suffered the last couple of years. Right. One thing, though, with Jason Veritek, if you look at his offensive numbers in the second half of the season as compared to the first half, they're not nearly as good. He ended up hitting after the All-Star break like 230. But he's streaky, but it's the little things that he does. Not just off the field, but on the field, like we saw in Saturday's game. Little things that don't necessarily show up in stats or on the scorecard.
Home runs, you're taking that and you're running.
But
I don't care if he's hitting 240.
He's batting 9th. In this lineup, that's all you need. And again, I'll go back to the Yankee series when he hit that 3-run homer over the monster left field. That was a big at-bat. I mean, as a righty, he's as good as it gets on the team.
As good as things were last night with the Sox clinching an ALCS berth, they were scary as well. Johnny Damon laying motionless on the field after a collision with Damian Jackson. And like the Joe Theismann injury a few years ago, it was an incredibly scary moment that had Grady Little and Johnny Damon's teammates worried in Oakland.
Well, Johnny, we certainly feel like he'll be ready to play before this series is over with. Whether he's ready to play or not tomorrow, we're not sure right now. He did suffer a pretty severe concussion out there, and he was taking some more tests this morning. Hopefully he'll be ready to get back in there in a couple of days. But it will affect some of our thinking and setting the roster for the playoffs, but we don't have to make that decision until tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Every single player that we talked to last night on our post-game show made it a point of mentioning and bringing up Johnny Damon, a guy who's so well liked in the clubhouse, but also what may be lost is exactly how good Johnny Damon was for this team. Second half, offensively, hit over 300 in this series and played a hell of a defensive center field. If he's out for more than 2 games, and I think bare minimum he's out for 2 games, this hurts this team big time in this series.
I'm not so sure about that. I think Gabe Kappa can fill in very effectively.
Stunning. I'm surprised
very
you think that,
effectively. I'm not losing faith in my Gaby, but no, there's no doubt it's a loss. I mean, what Damon has done, I couldn't believe 6 straight years of 100 or more runs. That's a stat that is underutilized by many, because that tells you exactly that Johnny Damon's a very good leadoff hitter, and he's done very good things for this team this year. He stayed relatively consistent. He made the
to me, in my mind, one of the key plays in this series was that throw out at third base on Sunday. That was a huge lift for the team.
Even yesterday, though, while everyone was struggling with Zito, he was on Zito. Zito had him 0-2. That walk, that was a great walk. Had him 0-2. He fought him off. He was on him. He had the infield hit. This guy, again, he was another guy he's been there the whole playoffs, and he's been getting on base. You know, they haven't really been able to play small ball enough, but he's the kind of guy you play with. They're going to miss him if it is more than
the
2
larger
games.
question is, Damon Jackson, what are you doing? Get out of the way. I mean, I know it's tough. The momentum carried him into Damon. He made a nice athletic play to get to the ball. Get out of the way. That's not a second baseman's ball. It's simple. It's a center fielder's ball.
All right, Grady mentioned that they will submit the roster at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Adrian Brown now could be on it because of this situation with Damon, or do we see Jeff Suppan in 11 pitches?
You know, no. I think you do need the center field just in case, and they do need some speed. You know, Jackson might play a bigger role. That means they're going to need someone on the bench late in games. They've shown that they've used the whole roster. They need as many guys as one. You know, they don't need another starter. They don't need another fifth starter.
No, you know what they don't need is they don't need another pitcher on their roster that they're not going to use.
Right.
Let's face it, Jeff Suppan is probably just barely ahead of B.K. Kim and a guy like Scott Sauerbeck in the depth chart.
TF Green Airport poll, how would you rate the Red Sox season now? Oh, the shocking results. www.fsnnewengland.com. Log on and answer today's question. Who was your Division Series MVP? Pick 'em. www.fsnnewengland.com. TF Green Airport in the great state of Rhode Island, a convenient alternative to Logan. We'll have an answer for you tomorrow night at 6:30 from Mohegan Sun.
Bill Burt, John Mitaparella here, and just when you thought you saw the last of a Clemens-Pedro matchup, well, just wait. 4 more days. They will meet up at Fenway Park on Saturday. Got any Game 3 tickets? Anybody? Baseball etiquette. You know what? It's a big deal and always has been in the history of baseball. Did the Red Sox show any last night? Derek Lowe didn't, but do we have a problem with it? We talk about that coming up on Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight.
Tomorrow in the Herald, a complete Yankees-Red Sox preview, position-by-position breakdowns from...
You're watching Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. Brought to you by the new Mohegan Sun, a legendary gaming, entertainment, dining, and shopping experience. Located just minutes off I-395 in Uncasville, Connecticut. Mohegan Sun. Come play.
Welcome back, Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. I'm Gary Tangway along with Greg Dickerson, John Mitaparella of Sports Radio 850 WEEI and the Dennis and Callahan Show, and Bill Burt of the Lawrence Eagle Tribune here to talk Red Sox baseball. And to get to the World Series, the road goes through New York. We're watching highlights of the Red Sox doing some damage to Roger Clemens this year as Millar and Nomar went deep on the former Red Sox ace. But what is it going to be like this time around? Remember, folks, it's the postseason. The postseason is different. Here's your schedule. They kick it off tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in the Bronx. They're back here at Fenway Saturday, Sunday, and then again on Monday. So Game 3 and Game 7, we're looking at Pedro versus Clemens. So if this thing goes 7 games, Petey versus Roger, doesn't get better than that. And we're also taking on the Evil Empire. Here's the Red Sox version of Hans Solo.
We'd be happy to play the Little Sisters of the Poor, the Oakland A's, the Minnesota Twins, or the Empire. We'll play anybody. We're happy to be to this next stage. But we recognize, given their accomplishments, the road to the World Series runs through the Bronx, New York, and we're proud to be there and maybe write another memorable chapter in this white-hot rivalry.
Of course, Theo Epstein is Luke Skywalker, and we don't know who's Princess Leia yet.
I'd love to be Princess Leia if Larry's talking.
Yeah, did I just do Indiana Jones? I did just do Indiana Jones. Yeah. It's the same producer. We all know, whatever here.
Harrison Ford was in both movies.
He was in both movies.
Very good.
Okay,
Thank you, Mark Hamill.
This series is just, well, it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm stating the obvious here.
You think?
Yeah.
I would think so. Obviously has the possibilities are endless for this series. The team's very evenly matched. Deficiencies glaring for both, if you ask me. Defense at the top of the list. Who's going to make more mistakes defensively?
Well, that was the Oakland series, really. What it comes down to is who made more mistakes.
Yeah. And let's face it, let's take a look at these numbers, Billy. When was the last time you saw the numbers this even between the Red Sox and the Yankees? Even ERA, even for a team that supposedly has got vastly better pitching, those numbers aren't too far out of whack.
That's why I think part of the excitement, this is the first time This is not an upset. This is even. And, you know, I think it will be probably taken nationally as an upset because of the Yankees' dominance. But the Red Sox know it, and I think better yet, the Yankees know it. Joe Torre knows it. This is going to be a war. This is going 7, and there's gonna be more storylines. I think as many storylines that came out of Oakland in 5 games. I just can't wait. Trot, Nixon, Clemens, keep going.
Bullpen collapses. Well, let me ask you guys about this. The game 1 starter for the Red Sox is Tim Wakefield. Typically, you go into an American League Championship Series, you're putting your #1 guy in there, much like the Yankees are putting out Mike Mussina and Andy Pettitte. I'll tell you this. Here's my feeling about Wakefield starting in game 1. Eventually, Tim Wakefield is going to have to go out there and face one of the 3 best pitchers. To me, I don't see this as such a huge advantage for the Yankees with Mussina, because if the rotation were set up with Pedro, Derek Lowe, and Wakefield would be going up against Roger Clemens.
Yeah, that would be a very big problem. But I'm not too concerned about this. I think Wakefield's going to come up big. I really
right, but do you see my point? Pedro against Clemens.
Well, yeah, I mean, the bottom line is Wakefield's got to pitch against the Yankees sometime. Right. But guys, you know, the bottom line is it's a 7-game series.
Right.
They have more pitchers of higher quality than us.
The second game is very worse.
Period. They have more.
The second game.
You just said it. The first game, I'm telling you, Mussina is probably the Yankees are big favorites. They should be. Lowe has to win game 2, and you have Pedro for 3.
Yes, it is low.
It is low.
Yes, it is low. Grady said that today.
Everybody is looking for game number 3. You think this might be a fun Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock? You think that maybe Jillian's, the Cask and Flagon, Copperfields, and the Baseball Tavern will be opening up to its patrons around noontime to see Roger Clemens go against Pedro Martinez? We saw Clemens earlier this year, and what we all thought was his last outing at Fenway Park. Even if the Red Sox are down 2-0 going to this game Saturday, this could be one of the all-time greats in this town.
Pure theater. We got a Revolution game at the same time. How about that? The synergy.
Jeez, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do.
The only thing to burst the bubble in this game, and I think it is going to be a great game, but they're 7-inning pitchers, both of them. It's going to come down to something's going to happen. Look, both of the games Pedro pitched, he had nothing to do with the end result. They were wild finishes. And that's what's going to happen with those 2 teams.
Yeah, it's a good point, Billy. And also remember in '99 when these 2 faced each other at Fenway Park, and the Sox walloped them 13-1. Roger was gone after 2 innings because of an injury. Yeah. You know, so sometimes you get all pumped up for this.
Harabu gave up 7.
I don't want to say it's disappointing to see Pedro pitch 7. I'd love to see Pedro.
Well, isn't that what we've seen him, Billy? I mean,
no,
mostly been?
This series now, you know, these guys again, the Ortiz and all these guys have carried this team. I'd just like to see Pedro throw 9 innings and beat him 1-0.
If he's going to get close to 9 innings, he has to do something he didn't do in his 2 starts against Oakland, and that's get ahead of more hitters.
It's going to be economical.
Even yesterday, I think through the first 5 innings, he had 6 hitters in which he was behind 2-0 or 3-0. Can't do that against the Yankees and Clemens.
No, careless pitching. If he's economical, they win.
The Yankees know how to look. Let's be honest. The Yankees have caused him fits. They, you know, whether it's Enrique Wilson or Luis Sojo, they come up with a couple of guys that get that 15-pitch at bat. Pedro's just got to, you know, again, be Pedro. And, you know, I'm expecting a big game. I thought he was going to shut out the A's last night, but I think he's got a big game ahead of him.
Well, Clemens also has had some tough luck against the Red Sox too. Yeah. I mean, if he gets the fastball up in the zone, there are some guys that can do some damage against Roger Clemens. I mean, Roger Clemens, he's putting the finishing touches on a tremendous career, but when he goes to the mound Saturday, the Sox are not going to be, you know, the knees are not going to be knocking.
No, they shouldn't be. They should be, absolutely not. But you know that Clemens is going to be jacked.
Well, these two normally are bigger than the teams in the game. They're not. This is a Red Sox Yankee, and they're part of it.
No, they're bigger.
No, they're not bigger. I disagree 1,000% with you. They are not bigger. This series right now. Did you see the fans yesterday?
Billy, I will tell you this. I have a poster in my office. We have it at WEEI. It's from back in 1999. It's billed as Pedro versus Roger. It was bigger than
the Red Sox won that, and they got killed in the series. This is bigger. I'm telling you, that game, it doesn't matter as much as you think it does.
Billy's right. When it comes, well, you're right when it comes to the hype.
Who's right?
You're right when it comes to the hype, but he's right when it comes to the on-the-field stuff. Because the bottom line is, you know, Billy had a good point. It comes down to the bullpen in this game.
Absolutely.
It's going to come down to the pen in that game.
Dickerson's right.
All right, showing their stuff. This is Manny Ramirez hitting the game-winning home run last night, a 3-run job in the 6th inning off of Zito. The broadcasters had it wrong. He put it at the Red Sox dugout, and he watched the ball go just like Barry Bonds. It's just like half of Major League Baseball. Derek Lowe. Yeah. Okay, now Derek said he was doing the Tiger Woods pump and just throwing a glove on his leg. He was not. He did the Tiger Woods pump.
He did a different kind of pump.
He also did the universal signal for up yours, and then he placed his hand somewhere on his anatomy I am not privileged to talk about. What Derek Lowe was wrong. Manny I didn't have a problem with, but Lowe was definitely wrong.
You guys do that after every show. I mean, let's be honest here. I've seen you do the pump before, Derek. I've seen you do that, so it didn't bother me at first. Now that I've seen the replay about 3,000 times,
which one are you talking about?
The Derek Lowe situation, I think that was obviously over the top. He's immature. Derek Lowe is immature.
Or below the belt.
It's that simple. Manny Ramirez is just a flat-out flake. I think you can expect
that doesn't
stuff.
bother me. Everybody does
Barry
that now.
Bonds has done that for 520.
Tom Brenneman made a big deal about it. It was overblown.
Well, he did it for 2 innings, and that's sort of got over Barry.
I mean, get over it. By the 8th inning, Tom, you got more important things to talk about in a Game 5 of a deciding series. But let's face it, Tom Brenneman's father is Marty Brenneman, old bastard baseball announcer, Hall of Famer, Cincinnati Reds. I think he's learned a lot from his father and takes a cue from his dad. Manny Ramirez, all you had to do was see when Manny got to home plate, leapt on his teammates and hugged them. I just think he was wearing his heart on his sleeve.
The sad part about Derek Lowe, he didn't have to do that. You know what? Look, Tejada did. No, what I'm saying is Tejada did his thing.
Chavez, Tejada,
listen,
go get some hits.
Well, what he did was you win the game. You didn't have to do anything.
Win
they blew it, and they won the game.
That's what would Larry do? It's the same theory.
All right, the other
Larry?
Lucchino, your broadcast partner.
That too.
But I want to make this point: is that I thought the Lily name or the letters on the jackets, Game 3. I thought that was horrible.
Immature.
Oh,
Bush.
Same thing.
By the way, Theo Epstein didn't like it either.
You're right, and he's right.
It was
What's so Bush about it?
You know, it's bad for the
You're
Red
an
Sox
old
that you
bastard
like
too.
that stuff.
You're like Marty Brenneman.
You're
it's
a
great.
wise-ass punk.
Exactly.
That's your problem. And that's the way they were acting.
I had trouble figuring out what they were
shouldn't
spelling.
have done it. I've seen worse stuff.
Is that Lily with a Y?
All right, still to come here on Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. A little arrested development around Yawkey Way last night. What's it going to be like if they beat the Yankees in this series?
Look at the Boston Herald sports pages. Another return to the playing floor from Michael Jordan in the NBA. Well, Phil Jackson telling today's Chicago Tribune that, quote, "It has crossed my mind." The published report says he's reluctantly considered a scenario in which Jordan would play from if Kobe Bryant is unable to.
For the 2004-2005 season, the three-point line in Division I college basketball is going to be moved back 9 inches farther from the basket. The whole idea behind this is to prevent marginal shooters from taking longer shots. The NCAA wants to make the shot more meaningful.
New York Jets defensive end John Abraham pleaded guilty today to lesser charges of driving while impaired, and he'll avoid jail time. He could have faced it if he was convicted of driving drunk. His license will be suspended for 90 days, and he was fined $330.
There we go. Mohegan Sun's New England Sports Tonight. Extra points. All right. Boston was going crazy last night with the Red Sox rallying from being down 2-0 to eliminate the Oakland A's and advance to the American League Championship Series. But, folks, this is not Detroit, okay? And I hate to be, well, the fatherly figure of this duo here, but somebody has to do it. The fact that around Lansdowne Street, they were stopping traffic, they were jumping on cars, and they even overturned a car, and I don't even care if the person that overturned the car owned the car. You know something? It just ruins a good thing. I thought of Detroit in '84 when the Tigers won, and they burned half the city down. I know the Red Sox fans didn't go to that degree, but it was along the same lines, and it's just Bush.
Gary, you trying to tell me that one of your nights up at the University of Maine, you never overturned a car?
Cow.
Not once?
Cow.
Right, okay, so that's the Massachusetts, that's the Boston equivalent. Cars to cows up in Maine. Wasn't a big deal. You know what? It was only, what was it? It was a Mitsubishi? It's not like it was an SUV or a Lincoln or a Cadillac.
Oh, if it was a BMW, you would have a problem with that.
I have a big problem now, wouldn't I? Listen, it was stupid. I don't understand overturning cars and bonfires and all that stuff. I said to you last night, though, if you thought it was bad last night here, wait till this weekend, especially since it's a long weekend for a lot of people with Columbus Day weekend. It could get real nasty in the city. Coming up at 10 o'clock tonight. Speaking of nasty, the Score. Andy Gresh from down in Providence joins us along with WEI's John Wallach. Baseball is in the air, and tomorrow we will be at Yankee Stadium. We'll be at Mohegan Sun at 6:30.
Right.
We'll talk live to folks out at Yankee Stadium. Then I will wing my way to the Bronx, New York. Wish me luck. And I'll be live with a variety of people out at Yankee Stadium.
I wonder if you're going to make it back.
I'm worried about making it there.
See you at 10 o'clock.
Transportation.